it's Sandy Parker. Welcome to Crafting for Almost Everyone. This is a big day for us. We are going to do all about paper trimmers. I know you're probably thinking, well, what's the big deal with paper trimmers? You get paper, you trim it, that's all you do. Well, that's what I thought when I bought my first one, and what I learned really quickly was not all paper trimmers are created equally, especially for people who have a little bit of difficulty with pushing and pulling and doing both at the same time. And this was a really costly mistake for me at one point, because I bought a trimmer from a company called mybinding.com, and it was a rotary trimmer, and it was supposed to be a top of the line trimmer. It got all kinds of rave reviews, and I couldn't push the rotary part, the component of it. I couldn't push it down. You had to push it down and push it back, or push it down and pull it forward at the same time, and I couldn't do it. So when I called them and told them I had the problem, they said, well, we're sorry to hear about that, but it's a 20% restocking fee. So that wasn't a cheap mistake. I just thought I'd fill you in on that and tell you also about what I learned about trimmers along the way. And this is just my perspective, it's no one else's. I wrote down a bunch of this information, and hopefully you'll be able to read that at some point. I'm not sure, but we'll go over it in detail as we go through these. This one is the first one I bought. I bought it because I was in Hobby Lobby, and we thought we needed a paper trimmer because we were just starting to make cards, my husband and I, and he quickly dumped me for it wasn't that much fun, and I was left with a trimmer that wouldn't cut 12-inch paper. This is only about 9 inches from top to bottom, and it's only 5.5 inches to this bar, to this line right here. So what I learned from that mistake was I definitely need a bigger one. I love this trimmer. It is a fabulous trimmer. And I bought this little piece off of eBay, and what it does is it helps you line up so you know what, you know, like this one tells you an A2 card is a 5.5 by 4.25, and it shows you where you would line it up to cut it. I thought that was great. Here's a square 5.5 by 5.5 card, a 4.5 by 6.25. That's all the different card. I mean, these are all different card sizes. But the thing that I loved about it was when I first started doing this, I had no idea what an A2 card was. I had no idea what an A7, A9, and I learned this just from hearing what people, you know, when they started explaining A2. Of course, that was the most common card, so I started to learn from that. This is one that has a blade in it, and I'm going to cut all these at 5.5 so that I can just create some cardstock for myself. And what I've learned about these is that I think they cut better when I push down and push back on them. I'm not sure if that's right, but you line it up on this edge, and you line it up with the 5.5, and you get, I haven't had problems with having paper that wasn't cut well. So the pros for this one are that it was, the max price is $16. Right now it's on sale at Joann's for $9.59, but the maximum price it was $15.99. It's on sale for $9.59. So I said the max price is $16. The pro on it is it works great. It's very precise. I only ever have to change this blade. I've never had a problem. There's a little wire in there. I've never had a problem with the wire on it. I think it's a fabulous trimmer. It also has these little holes in it, if I didn't have that paper in there, but it has these little holes that you can put it in a 3-ring binder. So if you do travel with your crafting supplies, it's great to travel with. I really recommend this one. It's a really good trimmer. My next one I'm going to talk about is Creative Memories, and this is a paper trimmer. It's a personal paper trimmer, and it also has this little guide bar in it. Can you see that? It's a guillotine trimmer, and Creative Memories has updated this model since this one, but I bought this on eBay brand new, so it wasn't like it was used when I got it. But it, you know, it is excuse me, it's an older model, so you can get a newer model that has a drawer in it on this side. I'm not sure what you do with the drawer, but it has a drawer. And this one I use all the time when I'm making those starburst cards, because it does really well. I'm going to get a scrap here. Here it is. It does really well with cutting when you slide the paper in. Let me turn it on its side so you can see it, hopefully. you know when I made those cards that had the starburst on it, so when you're sliding your paper in and you need to make a long triangle, it does a great job on that. Is it accurate? I don't know. I haven't used it for that. There are grid marks, and you can use the grids, but I have not used it for that. I only use it for this. There are score marks going across horizontally and vertically every half inch on this, so it works really well if you line it up and you want to just create a bunch of diamond or triangular shaped pieces. Cheapers. So anyway, it's a great cutter for that. I don't use it to cut cardstock because it isn't long enough. I can cut it, if I wanted to cut a half sheet of paper, I could do it, but you can't cut a full sheet of 8.5 by 11 paper. So its pro is that it's great for fast cuts, it's great for making little cuts, but it's way too small to use as your everyday trimmer. So it's a great secondary one, and I keep it right beside where I work so that if I am going to be cutting something small, like let's say I wanted to cut out a little sentiment, it's great for things like that. So that one has its pluses and its minuses as well. So let's talk about, I have a very old Fiskars. The reason I'm even pointing this one out is they sell one almost identical to this for $27 at Joann's, and it's on sale for $16.19 right now. It's a big trimmer. The problem, okay, I'll give you the pluses on this one. It cuts 12-inch cardstock, not a problem. The problem that I had with this one, and if any of you have an older paper trimmer, you might have this problem. I don't know. But here's the problem I had with it. For some reason, my papers are sticking together, so I'm trying not to cut two pieces instead of one. Okay. The problem I had with it, I made a 5.5 mark. Hopefully you can see that 5.5 mark. Maybe you can't because I have it all the way to the wall. Maybe I'll turn it so you can see it. I made a 5.5 mark right there on my bar. It has this long ruler that comes out, and that ruler is really nice. It goes all the way to 15 inches, which I don't know if I've ever seen one that did that many inches. But the problem I have with it is this little lip that holds your paper in place is very shallow, and so sometimes I won't have my paper positioned right. I'll think I will, and then I'll cut my paper and it won't be positioned the way I want it to be. So I'm gonna have to turn it to cut it because I have to do it a certain way in order to make sure I cut things straight. I have changed the cutting blade. It has been a really efficient cutting tool. I haven't had any problems with it other than have to change that out, other than I can't get paper to stay really well in that lip. So the pros on this one is it still works, and it's an old one, and it works with 12-inch paper, which is great. Oh, the other problem I have with it is it only has the marks on it aren't very the other ones have better markings. They have markings at the bottom and at the top. This one only has markings in the middle, so you get it's really hard to line things up properly on the base. So until you get to the spot where you have that big ruler, see where you have the ruler, and the ruler is hard to read too. That's why I had to make the mark. But the markings on it aren't in the right places, so that's another con on this one. So if you come across one like this and it doesn't have the markings at the top and the bottom, I don't recommend you getting it. Next one we're going to talk about is the 12-inch portable Fiskars. This is the one I bought because I had the smaller one and I loved it. Honestly, I would really want this one to be my go-to cutting tool of choice, but unfortunately, and this is something that other people have talked about over time, there's this little cutting line. Let me see if I can put anything under it to allow you to see it. Maybe this pink cardstock. I don't know if you can see. There's a wire in the middle of that pink. Can you see that wire? The problem I have is somehow that wire interferes with my cutting, and I get a really ruffled edge on my work. I don't get a clean cut. I love this one. I wanted this one to work so much because I don't go anywhere when I craft. I do it all right here, so I don't need one that is little. I wanted one that was longer across this part. It's important to me. I want one that has a 5.5 inch right there and that I can see the whole way up. I also was really thrilled that this one already had the marks in it for the 5x7 card, the 4x6 card, the 3x5 card, the regular A2 4.25 by 5.5 card. All those marks are on this grid, already on this. Plus it has the long ruler. It goes up to 15 inches. Didn't know it did that. The other thing that's cool about it, and up until today I'd never used, is it has this lock right here that you can lock it so that the bar doesn't come open. So if you do want to take it anywhere, you can know that it's securely closed. I will cut one piece of paper and show you because I think it's, I just got the bar in the mail. Let me tell you about that too. Let's see if it feels like it's a little bit, okay. I'm going to hold the paper up as close as I can to the camera without blurring it out, hopefully, so that you can see this. I don't know if you can see on this edge, it's very chewed. That's the only word I can use for it. And it has almost a ledge to it. I don't know if you can see it or not, but if you can, let me see if I can get my lighting better on it. Don't know. Anyway, you can just take my word for it that it's just a problem. The cutting on this is not clean. I wanted it to be, but it wasn't. So I called Fiskars and I told them about this problem I had. They sent me a new wire in the mail. The problem was that whoever mailed it did not tape the box shut. So when it came, the directions had already fallen out and this piece was still in there, but it was loose in there, so I'm sure it came out of the box when the paper did and somebody just shoved it back in the box. So this one didn't work. So I called them again and told them the problem I had, and this time what they said was, we're really sorry, we will replace the bar. If this new bar doesn't work, we're going to send you a whole new trimmer. I appreciate that. I can deal with a product that has some problems if I have good customer service that will fix it in the end. And so I'm hoping that this new piece will work. The other thing was, because the directions weren't there, we had to go to YouTube and find them, and I'm not sure if we followed it the way that the directions tell us to, because the customer service person I talked to said that there might be damage if you put this on the wrong way. You can bend that wire enough that it's virtually inoperable, and that could have happened too. I don't know. So all I'm saying is I'm okay with waiting to get this fixed, and I'll keep you updated on that. But this trimmer is not an inexpensive one. It's about a $50 trimmer. I really like it. I really want it to work. So far, no. My next trimmer, I did not buy it as a trimmer. Most of you, all of you who watch my videos have seen this trimmer and not known it's a trimmer. Oh no, yeah. I want to make sure I'm doing these in the order I have them on there. And I wanted to make sure I told you on that one that it's easy to line up the paper on the one I just did. It's large enough for 12-inch paper, and great customer service. So those are all key components. You've seen this, my big scoreboard. Let me tell you a few things about this, because I know you don't know these things about it, and these are important to note. The first thing you need to know is that in the side of it, built right into it, is this template that you put in the corner, and it allows you to turn it to do things on their side, and this actually tells you how to do envelopes, and I use it in the envelope video where I showed you how to make all the envelopes. But the thing that's nice about it is if you have anything that needs to be done on a diagonal, this is the tool that you use to make diagonal cuts. Then, let's see if I can put that back. I put it in there wrong. There we go. Then the other thing, I'm going to push this to the side, in this top Make sure I do this right. I never can get this thing open right. Here's a con for you. Martha, yet another thing I can't do with your stuff. In this compartment are all of these little templates that teach you how to do all kinds of things. Have I ever looked at these? No, I haven't. But I should, because I learned a lot from a video I watched on making envelopes, and learned that my scoreboard would teach me how to do those. Didn't know that. Anyway, it says use these templates as quick project guides. So someday I will use those as a quick project guide. The tricky part is getting it off and on, so that's why I haven't played with it, because I don't like getting it off and on. Okay, you heard that before. The problem with this is the cutting blade. I'm going to move it to 5.5. I'm going to move this up so you can see it really well. This is the cutting blade. When you cut, you have to push down and either push it away from you or pull it toward you. I've never ever used this once where I got it to A, cut a straight line, and B, cut the whole paper. So we're going to give this a shot. I have it lined up at the 5.5 like I've lined up everything. I'm going to take it to the very end, the score line, and I'm going to push it down. Here's the problem. When I push it down, I have to be able to hold it. Okay, now I'm already moving. Okay, now I'm going to go back to where I was and hopefully put it back in position and see if it, okay. Okay, I don't know if you heard it, but here's what I accomplished. I kind of cut it, but you're going to see, maybe I was off. I thought I was at the 5.5. No, I must not have been at 5.5. But here's what you're going to see is I don't cut through the paper. It cracks because I don't cut through the paper. And for me, this is worthless as a trimmer because I can't push hard enough and in the right direction. Let's see if I can push it in another direction. See if we can get it to work. Maybe my problem is I need to go away from me. Okay, I did cut it, but it's kind of hacked like that other paper was. So it probably needs a new blade, but it's too painful for me to use. So the pros of this is it is a great scoreboard. I can't ask for a better one. I think these are around $40, although they're very difficult to find now. In fact, I was just at Michael's in Pittsburgh, in Cranberry Township, and they had their Martha Stewart regular scoreboard on sale for like $8 for their big one. I couldn't believe it. If I'd have needed one, I would have bought one in a heartbeat because I absolutely love this scoreboard, but I didn't need one. But back to the cutting component of it, I should just whip that bar off and eliminate the noise and every other problem that it creates for me. But I kind of like being able to slide the paper under it. It gives me kind of another hand when I'm scoring. That's why I keep it on there. But that is it is a cutting tool, and I wanted to talk to you about it. So in case you were thinking to yourself, well, geez, that's a good idea. I'll get a cutting board and a scoreboard all in one. Well, it would be great. And if you are physically up to that challenge, I would recommend it highly because it is a nice scoreboard. I'm not sure if it's a great cutting surface or not. Okay, our next one that we're going to go over, actually this is our last one. I got this today at Joann's just to show you the things that concern me about a rotary cutting, paper trimmer cutting system. I don't know what we'll call it. The problem I have, there's a couple problems I have with a rotary cutting surface. The first one is this. I don't like it when my field of view is obscured. When I'm cutting, I want to be able to know where everything is on my cutting surface. Like, I want to know that it's going to cut in a certain spot. I'm going to take this piece of paper off. I want to know when I put my paper in here, I want to know exactly where it's going to cut, and I want to know that if I want to cut 1/8 of an inch more that way, that I can do that. Well, you have to always cut to the right, because you have to be able to see it, and you can't see anything to the left until you get to the 1 inch mark. From 0 to 1 inch is completely obscured. I don't like that. That's just me. That's one of my issues with it. So let's see if I can use this. Again, I just bought this today for the purposes of seeing if I could do it. Okay, maybe there's a device in here. Let me see if it's locked or something. It didn't say that it had. There's definitely something stopping me from cutting. Okay, here's what I figured out. I wasn't pushing hard enough. That's embarrassing. Here is the bar on it, and it goes to 15 inches as well. This is in metric and in inches in case you like to be in metric. I lined it up at the 5.5 inch. I'm going to try and do it again and see if I can push it hard enough at the 5.5 inch. I'm sorry if my head's in the way, but I couldn't see it for sure. Okay. Come on, let's see if we can do it this time. Okay, I cut it. It wasn't extremely difficult, but unfortunately, my elbow hurts from doing it. And you know I don't normally tell you things like that. So let's try another piece of paper and go in the other direction. It's not hard. It's not hard to cut. I don't think. Would I keep it? No. The pros on this are that it has the big long 15-inch. It holds 12-inch paper. It has a nice thick lip to cut from. It has. I mean, it's a Fiskars product, and Fiskars does make great cutting tools. So I'm going to say on this that it is. It is. What will I say? Well, I said it cut 12-inch paper. I'm going to say it's iffy to cut with, and that's my pro on it. I'm not sure if you'll be able to do it or not. I have watched videos of people cutting through several layers of paper with no problem at all using one of these. I mean, no problem. And in fact, I'll even tell you who it was. It's May that is one of the crafters that's on YouTube, and she uses it and cuts through several pieces of paper at a time. Okay, now I just tried to do 2 pieces at a time, and I didn't do it the second time either. The first time I thought I cut through it, I didn't. The second time I cut through the top sheet, but not the second sheet. Let's try it again with 2 pieces of paper. I do kind of like how the cutting bar lifts up separately from the guide bar. That part, the part where it obscures my vision, I don't like that. I really want to be able to see my cutting surface. Did I cut anything? Yeah, I cut through the first page again. Okay, so long story short on this one is this. It's not just the rotary trimmer that I tried that was supposed to be the best rotary trimmer on the market. It is just rotary trimmers, and maybe it's me. Maybe I'm just not equipped to handle a rotary trimmer, but I will say this. If anybody has given it a shot, it's me. I've really tried, because I've watched so many people use them, and I thought to myself, well, geez, everybody else can do this, and you know, I refuse to believe that I can't do anything. I'm convinced that if I tried, I can do anything I want to do, and if I do 1 piece of paper, I can do that, but it's a two-handed endeavor, and as I said, my elbow hurts when I do it. So I'm not going to give this the thumbs up, unfortunately. If I could get the Fiskars 12-inch, the one that I had the problem with, if I can get this one to work like the 8-inch, this is the one I would definitely recommend. The 8-inch of it is the greatest trimmer, and I'm so lucky that this is the first one I bought, because I would have never known which trimmer was the one for me, and until when I bought this one, it just really everything about it works well. You can see all the way, there's nothing obscured in your field of vision. And I don't know if that makes any difference to you, but for me it does. It bothers me when I can't see. Like if I wanted to move something an eighth of an inch, you can see right there, that's where the eighth of an inch is, and I can move it an eighth of an inch. If I want to move it a quarter of an inch, I can move it a quarter of an inch. So I like something that I can see on it. I do like the little Creative Memories cutter, but again, that's for little little cuts, little things that you just want to do something in a hurry on. And I'm not unhappy that I have all these trimmers. This one I just got in a box of things that I bought from somebody on eBay, so it was just really an extra in the box of things. And this one I did buy on eBay, and I would tell you, don't pay more than like $15 for this. And if you buy it, I would buy it on eBay and buy it new versus Creative Memories, because I think on Creative Memories website it's like $38 or $40 plus shipping plus tax, blah blah blah. Too much money. It's not worth that much money, but it is worth it to have a nice little trimmer, you know, for under, I think I paid under $10 for mine. And it's nice to have one that's just, you can, it's very lightweight, you can just have it, cut it, and be done. So those are my recommendations. If you are on the fence about any kind of cutting system, I don't think you'll be upset with anything by Fiskars. Obviously, I'm not paid to say that. I have no affiliation with Fiskars, but I love a company that gives me good customer service, and I really think that you will be happy with these unless you have a problem with that wire. And if you do, call them. Don't email them because they're not good at the email thing, but call them and tell them what your problem is, and I guarantee you they'll take care of it because I've never had a problem with them. So that's my choices for those. Not that. Those are my choices for a cutting system, trimming system, whatever you want to call it. I hope it gave you some ideas. I hope you'll give this a thumbs up. Tell your friends who are just getting into crafting about this video, or someone who maybe wants to start crafting but doesn't know what tools they need. You definitely need a good paper trimmer, and I highly, highly recommend these. So thanks again for watching. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks so much. Bye-bye. Hi. Oh, she's done. That's Bella. Aggie. And there's Aggie. And now you've seen the whole family. Come here, Aggie. She's had enough.